Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first ever SPOONY Awards, hosted by yours truly, JP Spoonmore. This is going to be a little different than my usual top 10s. I'm bringing in the new year with bigger sets, better props, and unlike the Oscars, this award show is coming out before Dune Part 2 is released. I will briefly introduce the 15 awards, list their nominees, which I'll try to keep down to 3 for the most part, before announcing the winner of that award. Like every other award show, they'll get their award and have 43 seconds for a thank you speech. Or in my case, 43 seconds to explain why that movie won that specific award before the music plays me out. My version of the thank you speeches will be completely improvised against the clock. Hilarity will ensue. I'm trying to keep things short because award shows always take way too long, so without further ado, the Spoonies. Starting off with the fun ones, we have Best Outfits. Now, I'm not talking about scrutinizing the stitch work of Phantom Thread or analyzing the symbolism of every dress. I'm talking about what movie made you want to wear what was on screen. The go-to Halloween inspiration. The, oh my god, we're twinning, but more like, of course we're twinning. The nominees are Priscilla, Barbie, Poor Things. And the winner for Best Outfits goes to Barbie.
Of course Barbie was going to win. I mean, Poor Things has the shoulder pads, Priscilla has the wedding dress by Prada and the fuzzy sweaters from the 60s, but Barbie was made for this award. You had Ken and Barbie for the Halloween inspirations. Ken had the fur coat, the bandana, the works. Barbie had a new dress and outfit in every scene. Some of her mental evolution was shown in her outfits, like when she wore the jumpsuit when they were doing the revolution, kind of like a Castro communism thing or a work person grassroots revolution, and like the cowboy outfits when they showed up in LA. It's just, all of it is so good.
Our next award is Best Music. Now, during award show, music can be kind of confusing with movies, so I'm combining soundtrack and score together, because quite frankly, I don't listen to music. But for 2023, it's hard to ignore the impact music has on how people enjoy their movies. So this is for the score that you hear during the award ceremony or the soundtrack that you hear on the radio, that as soon as you hear it, you just relive the movie all over again. The nominees are Priscilla, Barbie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and secretly Saltburn, but I don't like that movie. And the Spoonie for Best Music goes to Barbie.
Again, hard to go against Barbie when you have Dua Lipa, Billie Eilish, the third song, I'm Just Ken, just a giant musical number out of nowhere. This movie was made for this award, honestly. Yeah. So 3 of them were nominated for the Golden Globes. Again, Priscilla, you really tried, but you came out the same year as Barbie, so you never stood a chance. I do like the story, Priscilla, that they couldn't use the Elvis music, so they had to do the covers and the period stuff. But Barbie, pop sensation, I think about the movie every time I hear Dance the Night Away, and I dance the night away.
Our next award is Best Sequence. Now, my definition of a sequence is a series of small, connected scenes that build up to one climactic moment in the story. Think of the trench run in Star Wars, or the trench run in Top Gun Maverick, or just watch how they cut the killing of the 5 families in between the scenes of Michael Corleone's baptism in The Godfather, and you'll understand. It's not the standout scenes that shine. It's more the culmination of montage cuts and ensemble characters that make you remember the magic. And the nominees are the Rome Fiat chase in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, the brute fight in The Killer, the Trinity test in Oppenheimer, and I'm Just Ken in Barbie. And the Spoonie for Best Sequence goes to the Trinity test in Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, the entire movie is a montage, so having like best sequence for the movie that is all one sequence is kind of cheating, but that's just what it felt like to me. It felt like one long, continuous montage that never really ended until the Trinity test, which I think is intentional. That's the big climactic moment that you feel the weight of what just happened. So the fact that that's the climactic event that happens after like 2 hours, it feels like a 2 hour sequence. It's probably just 30 minutes, the actual sequence itself, but it's definitely the one part of the movie that I'm glad I saw in 70mm IMAX, and it's the only part of the movie that I remember.
Our next award is Best Scene, the antithesis of our previous award. Best Scene goes to that individual moment in a film you can watch on YouTube and still get that special sauce. Think of You Can't Handle the Truth from A Few Good Men, or literally any Disney musical number. The nominees are Feel in Barbie, Brothers Reunion in The Iron Claw, Lucky Strike Radio Hour broadcast in Killers of the Flower Moon. And the Spoonie for Best Scene goes to Lucky Strike Radio Hour broadcast from Killers of the Flower Moon.
Honestly, this is the last scene of Killers of the Flower Moon, so I don't really want to spoil it a lot. But you kind of go through what feels like a normal Scorsese movie, and then this scene comes out of nowhere, and it feels so self-reflective on a master director really at the end of his career looking at the effects of his creations that has the most impact out of all the scenes, even though you kind of sludge through terrible crimes and like hateful, hurtful people, and then this just comes out of nowhere and you're like, what's going on? It's more the confusion that really sells the point, especially when he does the most surprising part of it.
Our next award is Biggest Surprise. This award is pretty self-explanatory. It's for the film that far exceeded even optimistic expectations. The underdog no one saw being a hit. The one you root for after you found out it existed 2 days ago. And the nominees are Bottoms, Godzilla Minus One, Priscilla. And the Spoonie for Biggest Surprise goes to Bottoms.
The best joke is right there in that trailer. It's so funny. So biggest surprise, I was not expecting a comedy, first off, to use like Shallow Depth of Field, to have as many just explosive, crazy ensemble character moments at this scale. I don't know. It's hard to describe how funny this movie is in like the technical terms. It's just more of a gut feeling with the techniques that they do that aren't normally in comedies. There's a lot of craft to it that's just really great, and Rachel Sennett is such a charisma and such a presence on the screen that it's just like, it's just so surprising how good this movie was, and no one saw it.
Our next award is Best Biopic. 2023 was the year of biopics. Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Priscilla, Maestro, The Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Ferrari, which I didn't have time to see. Honestly, I hate this genre. Watching a 3-hour SparkNote summary of a historical figure is not my idea of fun. Bohemian Rhapsody is a terrible movie. Rocketman is 10 times better. Where was I? Oh yeah, the Spoonie for Best Biopic goes to The Iron Claw.
It's a little unfair to like mention this movie as a biopic when I didn't even know it was a biopic going into it. I didn't know it was a true story, but kind of looking back, it's very much like the great American tragedy, the way that they kind of go through every event through this family's lives, and just kind of the gut punch of seeing all the pictures and how similar they all look and how it's just like, wait, this was real? And then reading up on it and finding out that it's even worse in real life. There were 5 brothers instead of 4, and you're like, oh my God, it could have been worse, but for the sake of time, they had to make it happier. Insane.
Our next award is Best Foreign Film. Now, the label foreign film has gotten weird with recent award ceremonies calling films produced in the United States as foreign because it's written in a foreign language, while other films are international but in English. So I'm sticking with foreign produced projects written in non-English. And the nominees are Godzilla Minus One, The Society of Snow, Anatomy of a Fall. And the Spoonie for Best Foreign Film goes to Godzilla Minus One.
All right, first off, just having this pair with Oppenheimer is just crazy. No one saw this movie coming. And it's fully just a Japanese movie. And it's about like a kamikaze pilot that chickens out of his duty. And that's like half the movie. You actually care about the human characters. And then Godzilla just shows up as like a garnish to this World War II movie. It's insane how good this movie is, and even though it's in subtitles, the acting is so over the top that like you don't care. It's so fun to watch and emotional, and then the action is so good. It critiques, it kind of like does everything Christopher Nolan did. There's even a Dunkirk scene. It's hilarious. I love it.
Our next award is Best Animated Feature. Animation deserves its own award because, well, it's its own medium with its own style of storytelling. Fantastic Mr. Fox wouldn't have the charm and snappy pace if it was live action, and the Lego Movie wouldn't even be possible without Phil Lord and Chris Miller putting their creativity into every frame. The nominees are Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Boy and the Heron, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and the Spoonie for Best Animated Feature goes to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse, I know it's a sequel, but it builds on everything Into the Spider-Verse did. It broke all the rules, and this one goes even further with mixing mediums and just having so much fun and dynamic action scenes. It is crazy. Yes, I know everyone's going to vote Boy and the Heron. Boy and the Heron's probably going to win the Oscar, but I'm not well versed in Hayao Miyazaki movies yet. So I'm going to go with the Americans this time. I'm really sorry, but Spider-Verse is so much fun. And that third act surprise, and then it becomes like, ooh, it's a part one. People didn't like that. I loved it. I can't wait for the sequel.
Our next award is Best Popcorn Flick. Movies are meant to be entertaining as much as they are works of art. Most of the time more so. This award goes to the film you can watch while shoving fistfuls of popcorn down your mouth. The one you take all of your friends to go see, and you can crack jokes the entire time. And the nominees are Talk to Me, Godzilla Minus One, John Wick Chapter 4. And the Spoonie for Best Popcorn Flick goes to Talk to Me.
Yeah, it's going to win Popcorn Flick because I saw it with my friends and with popcorn, and it was so fun to react with people I knew in the theater. I go to the movie theater by myself every single movie, and so I'm so glad I picked this one because the surprises, the scares, the weird Australian atmosphere is just so fun. The characters are great, the acting is so good, and just the premise alone of possession gone viral, oh my gosh, that's like Jaws level high concept that you can plop it on any TV with anybody and you'll have a blast.
Our next award is Most Underrated. This award is for the film that deserved the hype that never came, the better than it should have been that never got the chance to make its mark. In a fandom-focused market, these will definitely be cult classics when they drop on Netflix. And the nominees are Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, Thanksgiving, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And the Spoonie for Most Underrated goes to Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Dungeons & Dragons, I don't play that at all. I played it once with like other people, but we were all drunk, so that doesn't count. This movie rocks. It's got Chris Pine at his best, most charismatic. He's doing the Silver Fox look. He's not a stupid villain in a Disney movie. Love it. All of the action set pieces are different. There's a great chase scene that's like meant to look like one take with a lot of cool animal transformations. There's a wagon heist like portal stuff, awesome. There's a cool arena, I guess. Is all the characters are fun. Some of the actors are the best I've ever seen them, and just the action and practical effects are fantastic. No one saw it. It's definitely worth your time, especially if you've played Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know how this movie didn't make money.
Our next award is Most Likely to Be Better on Rewatch. It's in the name. These are the movies I saw this year that are well made, well received, but I personally didn't get it on the first watch. You have to be in the right mood to watch some films, and these ones especially deserve a second chance. And the nominees are Past Lives, Asteroid City, Killers of the Flower Moon. And the Spoonie for Most Likely to Be Better on Rewatch goes to Past Lives.
I'm starting to think I like A24 movies. But in all seriousness, Past Lives is really good, but it's just, there's more about life in that movie alone than I've ever experienced in my 22 years. So it's definitely worth a rewatch once my heart has been broken, once I've moved into a new city and met new people and wondered what life would have been like if I chose a different path. I've never really been in that position before, so once it happens, I am booting this movie up straight away and letting it break my heart like it did everybody else. I'm not there in life to feel the pain this movie understands.
Our next award is Best Screenplay. As someone who has written a few rough drafts of screenplays myself, these things are way more complex than they seem. Character development, story structure, set pieces, iconography, everything starts on the page. And the best scripts make storytelling look easy. And the nominees are Barbie, Across the Spider-Verse, Priscilla, The Iron Claw. And the Spoonie for Best Screenplay goes to The Iron Claw.
Iron Claw, again, it's just great American tragedy. It's just a great idea for a script. It's hard to do. And I think Killers of the Flower Moon and Iron Claw are like two sides of the same coin in terms of like American heroes are, well, not heroes, but like American greats are greedy and selfish, and they kind of poison the water around them. And I think Iron Claw does it more personally, kind of more directly, and I think just the bigger performances, so it's easier to enjoy, flashier imagery that's kind of more fun, and there's two scenes in particular that I can't really get into details. I'm running out of time, but those scenes in particular about brotherhood and love and dreams and how sometimes in life they don't happen the way you want them to and they don't happen at all is really kind of just what stabs through all of your emotional armor and makes you cry.
Our next award is Best Director. This year was impossibly stacked. Name a director, they had a movie come out this year. From respectable newcomers to returning giants, 2023 was packed with auteur juggernauts. But I can only nominate 3. The nominees are Greta Gerwig, Martin Scorsese, Bradley Cooper. And the Spoonie for Best Director goes to Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon.
Martin Scorsese. The guy is just amazing. I can't even begin to talk about how he weaves the editing and just the larger-than-life characters and the needle drops. It's just, a lot of his movies are just so good. Silence is still my favorite. Silence is definitely my favorite. But this movie is not really high on my list, in his list for me. But again, the last scene, he's the reason that scene is the best scene of the year. And that scene is the reason he is the best director of the year. Again, can't get into spoilers, but how an artist places himself in his creation to kind of like identify with his faults and his legacy. That's what we all wish to achieve. I don't know.
Now our penultimate award is very special. This is the worst picture of 2023. The nominees are Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, Leave the World Behind, The Flash. And the Spoonie for Worst Picture goes to Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire.
Look, all right, this movie sucks. I only watched it because I knew it was going to be the worst movie of the year. It's not a good mindset to go into a movie, but it's Zack Snyder. And he fully thought that he could bring back Star Wars as a rated R Seven Samurai, where all the ships look like penises and all the stormtroopers are super horny, and it's so bad. He tries so hard to make every shot and character look like the coolest thing in the world that you're just sitting there thinking, okay, why is half this movie in slow-mo? Why do I not know any of these characters' names? Why is the main actress someone I've seen in 7 other movies and I didn't even recognize her because she could not convince me in the line reads that Zack Snyder knew how to write a script. I thought this was her first movie. That's how bad Zack Snyder is at directing his actors.
Our last award needs no introduction, the moment you've all been waiting for. The nominees, each having 2 awards so far, are Barbie, The Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, and the Spoonie for Best Picture of 2023 goes to... It's Barbie. We all knew it was Barbie. Come on.
God, I love this movie. I love this movie so much. I was worried that the end of this year, this was going to be the only movie that I was confidently going to watch again, because I wasn't really in the mood for Killers because of its length. I wasn't a big fan of Oppenheimer either. Thankfully, Iron Claw came out. Love that movie as well. But this movie slaps so hard that people online hate it. Like, it's reached that trajectory where it's so popular, people are like, it actually wasn't that good. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I know it's a huge IP thing that's going to start a Mattel cinematic franchise, and it's a commercial. Yeah, but in spite of that, it's still emotional, heartwarming, fun, colorful. It's the best movie of the year, easily. Love Greta Gerwig. Little Woman is still better than this, but love Greta Gerwig. Margot Robbie as a producer, hell yes. I am so excited to see what all these people do next. Even the Ryan Gosling stuntman movie, sure, whatever. Dance the night away.
Thank you, everyone, for watching the first ever Spoonies. This is going to be an annual thing. I had a lot of fun planning all this out, the script, even making these awards with my dad. So this will be an annual thing. 2023 was a great year for movies. So if your top movies didn't get nominated in this show, name it down in the comments. Unless it's Saltburn, just don't, please. But yeah, that's it. See y'all in the new year, where Oppenheimer wins too many awards and Greta Gerwig gets snubbed. Bye, Ken.